Kerry, I'm super excited about you coming on the show because this is a sensitive topic, right,
Sure.
in the roofing industry. I was talking to Craig Halsell. I know you know Craig for a long time. He's really knowledgeable in the whole building industry. And one of the things that he was talking about is how scammers can come through areas and really just take advantage of people, right? And that's kind of a different topic, but it's just in that same area of how people can get taken advantage of because we don't really understand even what questions to ask, what to expect maybe from roofing contractors. So we're going to get into that a little bit today. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been in the roofing industry?
Since 2017.
Okay.
Worked for a couple of different, to get my feet wet in the business, worked for a couple of different roofing companies. And then in 2018 had the opportunity to work for Craig, and we started Patriots Roofing, and it's been fantastic. It's a wonderful line of work to be in.
Yes, integrity is a huge thing, right, when it comes to any kind of contracting type of business, stuff like that. And your background, so you've got a law enforcement background as well. Tell me a little bit about kind of your background leading up to where you're at now.
Sure. I started my adult life, wanted to be in public service, started out in law enforcement, was police chief at one point in time. I was always a volunteer firefighter, and then got a chance to go into, I'd served on the board of directors for an emergency medical service, ambulance service. Had been on the board of directors for them, and then the county had a ESD where they assigned commissioners. I was put on there, and then in 2011, I was able to go in as the executive director and did that for a few years.
Okay, and then so you're the president of Patriots Roofing
I am.
now, right? And you guys cover more than one state, right? I mean,
We're primarily in North Carolina, Louisiana, and Texas.
Okay.
Most of us are from Texas in this area in general. And yeah, we're in those three states. We do some work in some other states, but we don't have ongoing operations. We'll
Gotcha.
just go and take one-off jobs.
All right, well, let's start by highlighting some of the most common ways roofing contractors can cut corners. So just give me like the top couple off the top of your head there.
Unfortunately, the roofing industry in particular, it's probably about 80%, a little bit on the shady side.
Oh,
And
really?
we'll
That high?
cut corners? Yes, sir. It's extremely high.
Why? Just all about the money?
Because the availability of being able to do it. You know, someone, if they need to replace their roof, might be once every 25, 30, 35 years, something like that. So it's not something that they're common. You know, if you have other trades coming into your home, those are on a little bit more of a regular basis.
Is it really awareness, customer awareness about the industry?
It is, yeah. It's you have to, because there's no reason to be educated on it. So you have to take the time whenever you're initially meeting with them to educate them on all the different things they need to look for and the different aspects that go into a roof replacement.
So let's get into what's a common thing where they're going to cut corners or they may cut corners.
Well, a lot of times, and if there's insurance involved, which there's not always, it's, you know, a lot of retail work. But when insurance is involved, there's a push for them to go get 3 different bids, and just as your standard in other industries as well. But what they're looking for is the cheapest bid. And the way that the guys come in to get the cheapest bid, just in San Antonio alone, there's a couple of different places that are, we call them black market suppliers. They're not, but what they've done is they'll take leftover material from a previous job. They'll buy it for pennies on the dollar, and then turn around, mark it up a little bit, and sell it, but sell it cheaper than what a supplier is selling the new material. So South Texas is a little bit bad about that, just because there's so many available. So what they'll do is they'll go in there and they will, instead of going to buy brand new shingles or other accessories, they'll go in and pick what they have from these lots. But the whole problem with that is especially with shingles, every package is marked. It's got a lot number. And if those lot numbers don't match to where the same granule formulation was put into it, where they're going to appear the same, then you'll see a roof where they have gone and everything's the same color, and then you'll have a diagonal strip coming down that's just off ever so slightly, but it sticks out like a sore thumb.
Oh, wow.
So stuff like that.
Yeah, I would probably catch that. Even as somebody who doesn't understand the roofing industry, I'm probably, Tim, you're over there laughing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen some funky roofs here in San Antonio.
I'll bet.
But some of those in that bid process, that's what they're if you're trying to come in low, then you have to have already factored in how you're going to cut your costs to make any profit whatsoever.
Right.
And so that's what they'll do. They'll come in, see what's available, and then place their bid according to that. It's on paper or just in general. It might sound good because it's low, but it's probably going to be questionable quality.
Yeah, right. So what else? What's another area that the corners are going to be cut?
One of the main ones is trying to reuse existing material. So if it's on a reinstall, if you're tearing off and placing a new roof.
Okay, so material that's already on that homeowner's house.
Real bad about trying to reuse drip edge, things like that, and it's just terrible. And the biggest part is when you're doing a re-roof, when you're reinstalling a new roof, you have to take it all the way down to decking. It is the only way to identify. You need to start out with a clean canvas.
Okay.
And that's where you identify all of your deficiencies, the decking, flashing, things like that. And they'll come in and they will have already factored the fact that they won't take that down to decking. They'll leave the existing underlayment there, hammer down any nails that are protruding, and all they're doing is putting that nail right back into an unnailable surface. It's going to pop back up, at least a percentage of it will. But they've already factored that in. So it saves them labor cost on the tear-off, disposal cost on the material, and that is a very, very standard practice.
Oh, wow. So that's two really good ones. Do you have a third one that where they're going to be cutting corners?
I do. Let's see. Sorry about that, Mark.
No, you're fine.
I could chime in real quick
Yeah,
because we deal with this a ton.
Please.
And just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, because we're not a roofing company, but we have our clients that work with roofing companies and work with the insurance companies all the time. And a lot of times, not only is that roofing company, by making sure you get a good roofing company out there when you have an insurance claim, they're also going to look to make sure you're getting the most out of that claim, like meeting the adjuster out there to make sure the adjuster's not shorting you on anything and making sure, like he's talking about, that everything gets done. Like our clients, we always talk about, is it there's value around price, and it's like, yeah, sometimes that bid may be a little bit higher, but there's so many opportunities for a great roofing company to bring you value where you got to look past just that price tag, because like he's saying, there's always people that are going to do it for cheaper. But we're literally talking about the roof over your head, right? We talk so much about
right, and insurance will pick up a lot of those costs anyway if it's an insurance claim. Yeah. And I know this is one of the areas that Patriots Roofing really excels at, is making sure that especially if it's an insurance claim, that you're getting the maximum value out of that claim. Which that's one of the reasons why I wanted you guys to be on the show, because you're very smart that way.
Well, in that realm, in the insurance part, especially if it's a storm-related area, say the hailstorms we have here in San Antonio and the existing area, they'll bring in third-party adjusters that aren't necessarily, they don't have a steady paycheck coming from the insurance carrier. So they'll bring those in. So you have to meet with them. You have to go over every aspect of that roof. Then you have to come back and see what scope of work they put on there. One of the biggest issues that there are, so like us, for instance, we are a margin-based business. We're not a cost plus. And the insurance companies, when they're trying to figure out their scope of work that they're going to assign out in that adjustment, they're going by a database. But it's not a practical database because they haven't gone and checked local suppliers, what it's going to take to source the material, what that cost is going to be, things like that. We stay on top of that on a daily basis.
Right, so you can help educate them. And
absolutely. So we know what our margins need to be for material, labor, general administrative costs, things like that, and that's the way we base our business.
Sounds like you make it easy for the adjusters.
Well, you would think.
Hey,
it doesn't work that way because they have some flexibility, but that still goes to a desk adjuster who is employed by the insurance company. And so sometimes it gets a little bit of back and forth. But,
all right, cool. Well, so if some folks want to get in touch with you, Patriots Roofing, obviously, but how do they get? What's your website?
Patriots with an S, patriotsroofing.net.
Okay, and what's a good phone number for them to reach you at?
Area code 210-244-5600. 3165.
Awesome. Thank you, Kerry, for coming in and sharing that with us. Super
sir.
valuable information. I hope to have you on again as well.